If there's some things you want done at all, I guess you got to do them yourself at times. So I've been looking around. I haven't found any place in the area readily to send my axles to or take them to in order to get the lug pattern changed. So what I ended up doing was I ended up making a jig of my own. So the first thing is I've welded and filled the holes that are existing because it's 5 on 5.5, and I'm going to 5 on 5. So and then I made this jig. I don't have the final hole size on here yet, but I'm going to add it. It's going to be similar where it's got a standoff like this to get the drill angle right, and that way it's not drilled crooked. But what happens is this: is you come over here, and I've already drilled a couple holes, so don't mind those. But you start off with it by placing it on the actual axle. This was part of a brake rotor from a Jeep Grand Cherokee that was 5 on 5, and I had to expand the center hole a little bit, but you could probably do this with a hubcentric spacer on a GM brake rotor as well. You might even be able to do it with a wheel. I probably wouldn't use a wheel. I like these. They're a little bit tighter in tolerance. Brakes are cheap at the junkyard anyways if you don't have something junk laying around already. But what I did was I took a wheel stud on the lathe, I bored a hole through it, I turned it down so it would fit in the hole itself, then I put it in, and because it had that flange on there, it made it perpendicular perfectly to the actual surface. So then I welded that in, ground off the head so that it was true and flush with the other side of the plate. After that, what I did was I added this one, which is a 9/16 hole. I just wanted an intermediate step so I didn't burn up a really expensive drill. I've got one. It's slightly over 5/8 of an inch, and it's coming. And it was a cobalt drill, so it wasn't exactly low in cost. The metal on these is very tough. The weld is also very tough, so get good drills. It's worth the money. But yeah. So how you start out is you drill a 1/4 inch hole first using this guide. Afterwards, what you do is you take the 9/16 hole here, you line it up, you drill it, and then what that does is that allows you to align this hole as well. So by doing that, though, whenever you have this hole drilled, or whenever you have it clamped down, you can drill both these holes at the same time. So you drill the second hole, you got this 9/16 hole drilled, then you rotate again. And what you do for the third step, though, is you put a bolt here. This bolt's way too long, but I'm using it for demonstration purposes. You put this bolt here, then you drill this 1/4 inch hole, and you drill this 9/16 hole. You rotate again, repeat the process. You rotate one more time and repeat the process. After this, you have a 1/4 inch hole, and then you have 1, 2, 3, 4 9/16 holes. So you have to come around here, and you can't drill the 1/4 inch hole in this one. You can't line it up with the 1/4 inch hole because this one's already 9/16. So you go to the next hole, which that hole's going to be 9/16 now, and then you're done. And then you drill out the last hole, and you're done. So that's how you use this and everything. I'm going to add a third step, probably right there. And what that step is going to be the final size. I'm using 5/8 wheel studs, so I do have to do 3 steps. You'd probably do it in 2 if you had a smaller wheel stud or used a little bit bigger initial hole. I just like the smaller bits because A, they're less expensive to start with, and B, I'd rather take a couple steps and be a little bit easier on my bits. All right, if you got any questions, throw them in the comments. Later.